The top stories tonight in Y News. The Department of Information and Communications Technology assures there has been no hacking of government data.
Dismissed Master Sergeant Rodolfo Mayo Jr. invoked his right against self-incrimination when lawmakers asked his take on what transpired during the drug bust operation in October 2022.
The Department of Justice forms a technical working group for the terrorist designation of suspended Negros Oriental 3rd District Representative Rodolfo Jr.
And thousands of Israelis staged protests against the coalition government during the 75th Independence Day celebration.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Wednesday, April 26, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am William Theo.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Hardin Delgado.
First in the news, the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, stressed that there were no hacking or data breach involving 1.2 million records of law enforcement agencies. Nel Maribuhok reports.
The Department of Information and Communications Technology refuted the reports of an alleged massive data leak and cybersecurity breach in government agencies. DICT Secretary Ivan Jan Uy assured that there had been no hacking of government records.
So it's not a hack, it's not a breach. There was no intrusion, kumbaga, into any of the government system.
Based on the DICT's investigation, the data leak came from the online recruitment portal of the Philippine National Police, or PNP. He added that PNP's IT department did not have knowledge about its recruitment page.
Dahil recruitment site yan at nakabukanggang, ang nangyari was nakita ngayon lahat ng mga in-upload ng mga data. So walang breach sa NBI database, walang breach sa BIR, kasi lumalabas kasi sa some of the news reports, no, na massive daw data breach of the different government agencies. Hindi po yun accurate.
The DICT chief said the site had since been taken down. The National Privacy Commission has also initiated an investigation to see if any protocols, laws, or rules were violated.
So when it was called, that our attention was called, sinulatan kaagad namin yung government agency concerned na merong vulnerability doon sa system nyo, hindi pala nakakandado kumbaga yung mga pinto nyo at saka mga bintana nyo. Do something about it. So they immediately took down the site.
Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Foreign Affairs is working on easing the entry of Filipino evacuees from Sudan to Egypt. Meanwhile, the department is also looking to deploy assistance to national teams in Wadi Halfa and Port Sudan. Janice and Hento will tell us why.
To assist the arriving Filipino evacuees from Sudan at the border of Egypt in Aswan, the Philippine Embassy in Cairo has deployed staff in the area to facilitate the temporary entry of Filipinos in Egypt. In a text message, Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, for Migrant Workers Affairs Undersecretary Eduardo De Vega said that the first batch of Filipinos were barred from entering the border of Egypt. De Vega did not disclose the reason, but he said that the embassy is now working on the matter. In a statement released by the DFA, it says that the embassy in Cairo has already worked with Egypt's Ministry of Foreign Affairs to help ease entry requirements. Meanwhile, some Filipinos arrived days ago in Port Sudan and called on the embassy and consulate to assist them on what's next to do.
Sa totoo lang, wala na po kaming foods dito at wala na rin po kaming maipambili. Yung embassy po namin, hindi na po namin alam kung tatawagan pa kami o hindi na. So ang problema po namin ngayon hanggang ilang araw pa kami dito, wala na po kami maipambili ng pagkain, wala kami maipambili ng load, wala po kami talagang said na po. So ang hinihiling lang po namin, sana makarating po yung hinaing namin sa embassy na wala na po talaga kaming maipanggastos dito. Kung aabutin pa po kami dito ng 3 araw, paano pa po kami dito? Paano pa kami kakain?
The DFA said that the embassy is now looking into deploying assistance to nationals or ATN teams in Wadi Halfa, a city in Sudan near the Egypt border, and in Port Sudan, where evacuees can ride a ship to Jeddah. Janice and Hente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, confirmed that the 2 Philippine diplomats figured in a car accident in a rush to help Filipinos cross the Sudan-Egypt border. DFA Undersecretary Eduardo de Vega said Philippine Ambassador to Egypt Ezzedine Tago and Vice Consul Bojer Kapati vehicles rolled over twice while rushing for their operation. DFA spokesperson Maria Teresita Daza says the 2 were unhurt and has already returned to Cairo and will be flying again to the border to facilitate the entry of Filipino evacuees to Egypt.
The House Committee on Dangerous Drugs conducted an investigation on the seizure of 990 kilograms of shabu in October last year. Several Philippine National Police personnel allegedly involved in the issue were invited to attend, including dismissed Master Sergeant Rodolfo Mayo Jr. During the hearing, Mayo refused to share his insights on the said drug bust cover-up. Eileen Sarudo will tell us why. Dismissed Master Sergeant Rodolfo Mayo Jr. invoked his right against self-incrimination when lawmakers asked his take on what transpired during the drug bust operation in October 2022. Dangerous Drugs Committee Chairman and Surigao del Norte's 2nd District Representative Robert H. Barbers asked Mayo where he was at about noon of October 8, but the dismissed cop remained silent. When further questioned by the lawmakers,
I invoke my right to remain silent, Your Honor.
Ay, hindi naman tungkol dun sa kaso mo ito eh. Hindi maapektuhan yung kaso mo, iho. That's why you cannot invoke your right to remain silent. Ang pinag-uusapan natin, yung mangyayari sa iyo.
Congressman Barbers also asked Mayo Jr. about the case filed against him. Mayo responded that the cases filed against him are farce. Meanwhile, the National Police Commission, or NAPOLCOM, assured they will submit the results of their fact-finding investigation next week or the weeks after that. The agency also assured those proven guilty will be held accountable. NAPOLCOM was tasked to further investigate 36 senior police officers allegedly involved in the Shabu Hall cover-up. This is based on the recommendation of the PNP.
Makakatiyak po kayo na sa sinumpang tungkulin namin, magpa-file po kami ng administrative case. At magmumungkahi rin kami na mag-file ng criminal case through the Office of the Ombudsman. Makakatiyak po kayo na hindi po namin ito pababayan alang-alang sa PNP.
NAPOLCOM's assurance was amid the concerns of lawmakers that due to the lengthy investigation, no police officers will face charges. The agency also said due process will be followed and administrative and criminal charges can be filed in the proper court. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Department of Justice, or DOJ Secretary Crispin Boying Remulla, said that they are giving former Bureau of Corrections, or BuCor Chief Gerald Bantag, a few days to surrender. Remulla explained if Bantag will not show up, they will start the law enforcement to arrest. The DOJ will recommend that Bantag be brought to the Philippine National Police Custodial Center in Camp Crame if he feels he has a threat.
Because he thinks that his life will be under threat if he goes to a BJMP or BuCor facility. So we will give him the what is needed for his safety.
Pharmaceutical Services Administration, or PAGASA, will include the possible impact of hazards that could be brought by a tropical cyclone on their bulletin. The agency emphasized the importance of the participation of local government to make it successful. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration has launched the Impact-Based Forecast and Early Warning System project. There are 4 sites identified for the project, particularly in Tuguegarao City, Legazpi City, Palo and Leyte, and in New Bataan in Davao de Oro. These are the areas in the eastern section of the country where tropical cyclones first make landfall. PAGASA and the local government unit will formulate a localized forecast that includes the impact of strong winds, storm surges, landslides, and flash floods in an area. According to Dr. Esperanza Gayanan, PAGASA's deputy administrator, their data can be used by local governments in decision-making to mitigate the impact of hazards.
Itong nakikita ng mga forecasters na to, i-discuss ito with the RRM officers. So ito yung nakikita namin na mangyayari. Doon sa lugar nyo na tatamaan, they will be the one to indicate yung risk doon sa area nila kasi mas alam nila yung locality nila.
The local governments believe that the project could be a big help to them in protecting their constituents.
So we would not anymore, like what happened in Yolanda, we will not anymore say, ano ba yung storm surge? Ano ba yung ganon? So, because now that it's localized, we would understand already the impacts of this and what it will cause.
The UST Secretary Renato Solidum noted the importance of coordination, especially since the country experiences calamities frequently.
Ang pinakamaganda nito, this is another platform where we will all be working together.
The project is funded with $22 billion, including $12 billion from the Green Climate Fund. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Hakuto R was due to land on the moon today, April 26, at 12:40 a.m. Philippine time. However, the uncrewed spacecraft lost contact with the control center in Nihonbashi, Tokyo, shortly before the planned touchdown. iSpace engineers have yet to confirm the status of the lunar lander, as well as the exact cause of the incident as investigations continue. Minutes after the landing attempt, iSpace founder and CEO Takeshi Hakamada spoke during the landing live broadcast.
At this moment, what I can tell is we are very proud of the fact that we have already achieved many things during this mission 1. As I said, we have been secured the communication at the very end of the landing. That means we acquired actual flight data during the landing phase. That is great achievement for the future missions, Mission 2 and the Mission 3. To that end, that is important to feedback what we learned from this Mission 1 to Mission 2 and the Mission 3. That's why we built our sustainable business model to continue our effort for the future missions.
Today's event marks the end of a 4-month journey that began when Hakuto R was launched from Florida atop SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket on December 11, 2022. The 340-kilogram rover was developed by the United Arab Emirates, also marking this as the first Arab lunar mission. By the end of 2023, 2 US-based companies, namely Intuitive Machines and Astrobotic, are also expected to attempt moon landings in partnership with NASA. Such efforts have been aimed at building the infrastructure for human landings. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen. Thank you, Marielle. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. An overseas Filipino worker from Kuwait who was helped by UNTV Serbisyong Bayanihan arrived yesterday at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Meanwhile, the UNTV Action Center confirms its continuous coordination with other agencies for Geraldine's assistance. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
Geraldine Sujo, the overseas Filipino worker or OFW in Kuwait, who sought help in UNTV's program Serbisyong Bayanihan through her boyfriend Marshall Dumayas, following her overwork experience in Kuwait, arrived at Ninoy Aquino International Airport or NAIA yesterday, April 25.
Mahirap, sister, kasi nung isang buwan, 2 buwan, halos 20 oras kang magtrabaho, walang pahinga, walang day off. Nung nag-complain na ako sa agency ko, ginawang 17 hours. Tapos humingi ako ng day off noon. Sabi nila, dito ka lang sa bahay mag-day off. Pero hinintay ko yon, wala silang binigay sa akin. Tapos nung na-late akong gumising, sinigaw-sigawan ako ng amo ko. Tapos binato ako ng sapatos. Kaya ayaw ko nang magpa-transfer. Nagalit yung agency ko. Kasi hindi ko na kaya talaga.
Geraldine wanted to be repatriated and even bought her ticket with her own money just to go back to the country. She added that her agency wanted her to move to another employer, which Geraldine refused.
Ako naman yung bumili ng ticket ko pa uwi. Tapos sabi niya, kulang pa daw yung pinambili ko ng ticket. Kaya bayaran ko daw siya.
Meanwhile, UNTV Action Center Manager Annie Rentoy ensures that they immediately coordinated with the Department of Migrant Workers or DMW upon hearing of Geraldine's case.
Dito po sa mga problema ng ating mga overseas Filipino workers na nakakarating dito po sa Serbisyong Bayanihan sa programang ito ni Kuya Daniel Rason ay ito po ay agad na naipaparating dito sa Action Center. Ang Action Center naman po ang nagko-coordinate sa mga ahensya tulad po ng Department of Migrant Workers.
Annie also confirms its continuous monitoring of Geraldine and coordinating with partner agencies amid Geraldine's case with their agency.
Hindi dapat. Hindi po pinapayagan ng POEA yan. Even the Department of Migrant Workers, hindi pinapayagan dahil ang may violation, ang employer, sa madaling salita, ay kargo ng ahensya kung saan sino yung nagpaalis na ahensya sa kanya, yung local agency niya dito sa Pilipinas. Sinasabi po ng Department of Migrant Workers na kailangan dumulog ulit siya dahil mayroon mga legal staff na mag-a-assist sa kanya para mahabol yung agency.
Geraldine thanked the DMW and UNTV Serbisyong Bayanihan for a safe arrival in the country.
Maraming salamat sa inyo. Kasi nakauwi na ako. Maraming salamat po talaga. Maraming salamat sa Diyos.
Bernadette Tinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Land Transportation Office, or LTO, has disclosed that the supply of license plates for motorcycles and vehicles will be depleted in June and July of this year. JP Nunez will tell us why.
The Land Transportation Office, or LTO, projects that the plates will run out in the middle of the year, while the Department of Transportation, or DOTR, is in the process of procuring a new supply. LTO Chief Assistant Secretary J.R. Tugade said that they currently only have less than 3,000 blank plates for vehicles and 735,000 plates for motorcycles in their central office.
Ang plates natin is only good for motorcycles. It's only gonna last until June, and for motor vehicles, it's only gonna last until July.
To address the shortage, the LTO plans to implement a policy where motorcycle and vehicle owners can create their own makeshift plates.
Pagka wala pang plates, meron tayong policy na pwedeng maglagay ng improvised or temporary plates similar to motorcycles. And dito sa improvised temporary plates, ang nilalagay natin, kung sa kotse ang nilalagay is the conduction sticker, sa motor naman ang nilalagay is the file number, MV file number.
ASEC Tugade also mentioned that there is a budget of 5.2 billion pesos allotted for the procurement of license plates, which comes from the General Appropriations Act. The LTO remains optimistic that there is still enough time to procure blank license plates before the current supply runs out in June and July. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Justice, or DOJ, has formed a technical working group for the terrorist designation of suspended Negros Oriental 3rd District Representative Rodolfo Jr. Dante Almento tells us why.
Department of Justice or DOJ Secretary Crispin Boyeng Rimulya disclosed that they formed a Technical Working Group or TWG. This will make a recommendation to the Anti-Terrorism Council or ATC to designate suspended Negros Oriental 3rd District Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr. as terrorist. Rimulya added the ATC already met this morning. He already told the council about their effort of terrorist designation of the legislator. Rimulya stressed they are willing to defend their action.
We're prepared for legal challenges because there may be people who will want to legally challenge the use of the anti-terror law for this purpose.
The DOJ is also planning to designate more individuals who are allegedly members of Teves' criminal group. Meanwhile, Rimulya explained that one of the advantages if Teves will be tagged as terrorist, the member states of the United Nations will arrest him. The DOJ is not yet certain when will be the designation approved by the ATC. Dante Almento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
After a video showing her berating subdivision guards went viral, Senator Cynthia Villar says she may bring the incident to court. Harleen Delgado will tell us why.
Senator Cynthia Villar is looking into filing of charges against those involved in the viral video of her having an altercation with security guards in a subdivision in her Bailiwick, Las Piñas City. In the video, the senator can be heard and seen shouting at one of the guards, instructing him to remove the barricades allegedly installed by BF Resort Village or BFRV Homeowners Association.
Tanggalin mo! Tanggalin mo! Hindi pa sinasaktan ng guard mo. Sasaktan mo. Ikaw, umalis ka dito. Ako nagtanggal na lahat ng squatter dito. Hindi ko nga ito pakinabangan eh. Hindi mo sinasaktan ng guard mo. Bakit? Kaya ko ba saktan niya? Ano yan? Bakla? Kaya ko saktan?
Villar says the barricades are obstructing the composting facility that she built, which is for public use.
Yeah, I was talking to them to remove the gate because that composting facility is for the public. And they don't want to. They're arguing with me. But I guess they have plenty of security guards. And I'm alone.
The senator claims that this might be caused by the temporary restraining order issued by the Las Piñas Regional Trial Court stemming from lawsuit she filed against the Homeowners Association for allegedly blocking motorists from entering the subdivision by not honoring the friendship sticker.
They were given a TRO, so the BF Resort Village cannot anymore stop the people from using the friendship route. Siguro doon sila nagalit sa akin. Kasi that will bring down the income because they're charging 2,500 per sticker. Yung friendship sticker is free.
Villar also insists she did not have an outburst.
Outburst? Walang outburst. There's no outburst. Nagtataka nga ako siya, nagsabi na, huwag mong saktan. Nananakit. Yung pala, nire-record niya at iba-viral.
The senator adds she is consulting with her legal counsels on the possible filing of charges against the individuals who took and uploaded the video. The UNTV News, together with other members of the media, went to the BFRV Homeowners Association's headquarters in Las Piñas City to get their side of the story, but the security officer said the president was not there. According to Villar's office, the barricades are still installed, but the road can now be accessed by pedestrians and motorists. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God. Following the announcement of a SIM registration extension in the country, telco representatives in registration booths observed a drop in the number of SIM registrants. Bernadette Tinoy will tell us why.
The telco SIM registration booths in Quezon City Hall have announced that today is the last day they will implement booths in local government units to assist the public in registering their SIM cards. According to telco representatives Wilma and Rio, they encountered a high turnout of SIM registrants yesterday as the 90-day extension had not been announced yet. However, after the announcement, they observed a decrease in the number of registrants in QC Hall.
Kahapon, wala pang alas 8, nakapila na sila kasi nga malapit na yung deadline. Akala nila kahapon na yung pinaka-last or ngayon na. Na-extend, biglang nawala sila.
Sobrang dami, as in puno siya dito sa harap. Mas marami po yung kahapon compared sa ngayon. Kasi kahapon nga po nag-rush yung mga tao dahil akala nila last day today.
Meanwhile, SIM registrant Danilo says extending the SIM registration has its benefits. He said it will give enough time for the public to register like him, especially those in the provinces.
Ayun naman, maugaling Pinoy kung kailan deadline na tsaka tatakbo ngayon, nagmamadali. Maganda po kasi unang-una yung mga tamad na tulad ko, makarehistro, yung mga nasa province.
Josefa said she will register her SIM because not registering might affect the signal. She added that she did not register her SIM before because of her busy schedule taking care of her 2 children.
Busy sa trabaho eh. Kasi pag hindi na-register, walang signal. Kaya nandito kami, pati yung sa mga anak ko, pinaregister ko na rin.
Telco representatives also advised the public to register their SIM as soon as possible and to take advantage of the 90-day extension for SIM card registration.
Habang maaga pa po, mag-remind po tayo na i-register na natin yung mga SIM card na natin, huwag nang paabutin ng deadline uli para maiwasan natin yung pagkakaroon ng mga aberya pagdating ng deadline.
Bernadette Tinoy, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Millions of Australians will soon be able to buy 2 months' worth of medicine for the price of one. Maven Dog explains why live. Good evening, Maeve.
Good evening, Marielle. Under a major reform of Australia's Pharmaceutical Benefit Scheme, or PBS, the cost of hundreds of medicines will be halved for Australians suffering from chronic illnesses starting from September. According to Health Minister Mark Butler, the scheme will put an end to the huge amounts of money spent by patients over the past 5 years, allowing around 6 million Australians to collect double the amount of common medicines in their script. Meanwhile, the Pharmacy Guild of Australia argues that the scheme could lead to supply shortages and financially impact the pharmacies. According to the Guild's president, Professor Trent Toomey, there are 472 medications in the country that are critically short in supply or unavailable. The health minister denied these warnings, stating that only 7 of the proposed medications to be included in the scheme had supply issues. Marielle, the government is expected to save 1.2 billion Australian dollars in dispensing fees, which Mr. Butler reassured will be fully reinvested into community pharmacies. Back to you, Marielle.
Thank you, Maven Dog, for that live report. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has announced that Spanish government will build 20,000 homes on land owned by its defense ministry. Overall, the government plans to remodel and construct 113,000 social housing units, in addition to 43,000 more to be built and revamped using 4 billion euros from the European Union's rescue funds. The funds will be lent to developers and owners so they can convert their properties into social housing, rent them at a fair price, or transfer ownership for a minimum of 50 years. The announcement comes as the cost of rent in the country rises, which is also anticipated to become a major campaign issue as regional elections approach on the 28th of May and a general election later this year. Tens of thousands of protesters against the government marched in Tel Aviv during the celebration of Israel's Independence Day on Tuesday evening. Ruth Bahe will tell us the details live. Yes, Ruth, good evening.
Yes, Marielle. Israel celebrated its 75th National Independence Day on Tuesday, April 25 in Jerusalem, while thousands of Israelis once again held a protest against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's judicial reform in Tel Aviv. People holding blue and white Israeli flags have rallied every week since the beginning of 2023, and this is the 16th consecutive week. Even though Independence Day is typically a time for national unity among Israelis, there is still division over the proposed legislation that intends to reduce and limit the judiciary's influence to restore balance to Israeli authorities. This reform has outraged Israelis who see it as a threat to their democracy. The government has been pushing to give the Israeli parliament power and override Supreme Court decisions, as well as remove the Supreme Court's power to review Israel's basic laws. The changes would also give politicians the authority to appoint judges for the Supreme Court. Critics say that the judiciary changes planned by the government would diminish Israel's democratic foundations and balances within the state. Moreover, on Tuesday, Israel commemorates its fallen military personnel who fought in numerous wars since the nation was founded in 1948. Back to you, Marielle.
Thank you, Ruth Bahe, for that live report. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Mariela Toza reporting live from Perth, Australia. Good evening.
The Bureau of Internal Revenue, or BIR, announced today, April 26th, its declaration of war against fake and ghost receipts, not only for sellers but for those who buy and patronize these fake transactions. According to BIR Commissioner Romeo Lumagi Jr., the notices against ghost receipt buyers will be served by the National Task Force Run After Fake Transactions, or RAFT. He added that its sole purpose is to investigate and audit the buyers of fake and ghost receipts. Last March, the agency declared an all-out war against ghost receipt syndicates and filed administrative cases against the accountants involved in the syndicate.
Meanwhile, the first XBB.1.16 case in the country is asymptomatic and has already recovered, according to the Department of Health. Gladys Tuwabi will tell us why.
The first XBB.1.16 case in the country is from Western Visayas. The patient is from Iloilo Province, asymptomatic and has recovered.
It has this ability to evade immunity at saka mas transmissible siya. Pero hanggang sa ngayon, wala pa ring ebidensya ang pinapakita na ito ay can cause more severe infections.
XBB.1.16 or Arcturus is a variant of interest according to the World Health Organization, affecting more than 30 countries. Apart from the common symptoms of COVID-19, individuals infected with Arcturus are said to experience itchy eyes or sores, to be verified by WHO. Meanwhile, as COVID-19 cases continue to increase, the DOH encourages the public to wear face masks, especially commuters in public transportation.
Pag public transport, siksikan, maraming tao, minsan magkakaharap na ang mga muka natin. So in public transport, because it's a special area or a special risk area, tayo po ay nag-aabiso pa rin sa ating mga kababayan na dapat alam nyo yung risk nyo. Kapag kayo ay nakakatanda, mga kabataan na nasakay dyan, o di kaya ay alam nating tumataas ang kaso, piliin pa rin natin na mag-mask po tayo.
Gladys Tuwabi, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Our kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 5, verse 7, it says, "For we walk by faith, not by sight." And those are the reasons behind the news, April 26, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Hardin Delgado.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.